Assalamu alaikum. People, this video is going to be about the great Fannie Lou Hamer, a very important woman in history, period. One of the greatest women to walk the planet. This is what you call black excellence. She's somebody who had a very hard life, but she continued to fight in order to improve the conditions for her people. Now, at the time that Fannie Lou Hamer was alive, there was still hope that you can elect an official to help improve the condition for your people. You vote for people who are going to help your people. 1 + 1 = 2. I know it's not like that anymore. And that reason is why you would get up and make the effort to vote. Now, this video about Fannie Lou Hamer, I may have to cover her in 2 parts of her life. Very hard life Fannie Lou Hamer had, and she was a titan for her people. Now, Fannie Lou Hamer, she was born on October 6, 1917 in Montgomery County, Mississippi. Her parents are Joella and James Townsend. That's her original last name. Now, Fannie Lou Hamer, she was the last and 20th child of her parents. That's a lot, people. You know, I'm sure there are many people right now on social media listening who are related to Fannie Lou Hamer in some kind of way. Now, her lifestyle was just the same as any other black person at that time in the South. Poverty, you know, hard life. As a child, Fannie Lou Hamer, she did go to school, but she had to leave school to work. She left school, she hit the fields to pick cotton. Yes, they were still slaves. Does not matter what law was passed, what the white man said, or what kind of document he came up with. The system was still set up so that black people would continue to be slaves. They called them sharecroppers, which is a debt slave pretty much. In 1944, she married a man by the name of Perry Hamer, and that's where she got her name, Fannie Lou Hamer. Now, this marriage and marrying Perry Hamer, it didn't really offer much of a different lifestyle. Her and her husband, they still had to work hard. They work on the Mississippi plantations owned by a white supremacist cracker by the name of B.D. Marlowe. Now, Fannie Lou Hamer was the only so-called worker or slave who could read or write. She did go to school for some time, so she learned how to read and write. Therefore, she was the plantation's timekeeper. Now, her and her husband continued to work, live on his plantation until they were fired. Now, I'll get into that later as to why they were fired. But at some point in Fannie Lou Hamer's life, she knew that working on these fields as a slave, this just can't be it. The fire in her and her disdain for white supremacy made her get up and do something about it. And like many black people then, they figured, well, we vote for a candidate who's going to promise to give us something, who respects our humanity, things can change for us. And that makes sense. So Fannie Lou Hamer figured, okay, black people need to be able to get up and vote. So Fannie Lou Hamer, she attended a meeting by civil rights activists, one by the name of James Foreman of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, the SNCC, and James Bevel of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, the SCLC. Now, Fannie Lou Hamer, she eventually became an organizer of the SNCC. And on August 31st, 1962, she led 17 volunteers to register to vote in Indianola, Mississippi. They went to the courthouse, but when they got there, that group was denied the right to vote due to a literacy test. Basically, they told these black people, you're too dumb to vote. You know, Fannie Lou Hamer, she, of course, could pass it. But again, like I said, you know what I mean? After they left, the Ku Klux Klan or the police stopped the bus that they traveled in and fined them $100. What was it for? The police said that the bus that they were driving in was too yellow. Okay? $100, people. That's a lot of money. These are the things and the roadblocks that they put up to block black people from voting for somebody, a candidate who would improve their quality of life, the quality of black life. I have to keep repeating that because after all the work that people like Fannie Lou Hamer did, you have black people now who run around and try to promote and endorse people who clearly state, I'm not going to do anything for black people. But they'll get mad at another person who doesn't do anything for black people. How backwards. I believe that people with this mindset should be studied because they have been so beaten down and confused by white supremacist agendas that it has rendered them confused to the point of actual, I think, a form of mental illness. So when the white man on a plantation found out that Fannie Lou Hamer was out trying to get black people to vote, he fired her. Her husband, he stayed working for this white man until the harvest, meaning basically it was an important time for farmers. They work in seasons, and at this time, this white man knew that he needed her husband to finish this work so that he can make his money off the harvest, but he fired Fannie Lou Hamer, okay? So this cracker named Marlowe, or their boss, also took most of their property from them. This was the punishment for getting out of line, I guess. And because of this, Fannie Lou Hamer and her husband, Perry, they were broke, they were poor. They had nothing at all. So they left and moved to a place called Ruralville, Mississippi, in a county called Sunflower County. Fannie Lou Hamer continued to do her work with hopes of getting black people the right to vote so that we can live as humans. And on June of 1963, Fannie Lou Hamer successfully completed a voter registration program in Charleston, South Carolina. Afterwards, Fannie Lou Hamer and several other black women were arrested for sitting in a whites-only bus station restaurant in Winona, Mississippi. Now, while Fannie Lou Hamer and these black women that were with her were at the Winona jailhouse, they were brutally beaten. They left Fannie Lou Hamer with lifelong injuries from a blood clot in her eye, kidney damage, leg damage. If you look at pictures of Fannie Lou Hamer really close, you can see by her eye where they did this damage to her that lasted a lifetime. But Fannie Lou Hamer didn't stop fighting. In 1964, she co-founded the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party. Her party challenged the local Democratic Party, who are the white crackers, their effort to block black participation. So Fannie Lou Hamer pretty much said, okay, you all are doing your cracker Democrat thing. We need to do our own black Democrat thing. So Fannie Lou Hamer and other members, they went to the Democratic National Convention that year, arguing to be recognized as the official delegation. When Fannie Lou Hamer spoke before the Credentials Committee, she called out for mandatory integrated state delegations, and President Lyndon Johnson, President Lyndon Johnson held a televised press conference so that she would not get any television airtime. Yes, people, the same Lyndon B. Johnson, the same racist Democrat who passed the Civil Rights Act. People may ask, well, why would he do that to her if he wants civil rights for her people? Not at all, okay? But a lot of people still don't get it to this day. When these white supremacists pass these bills and these acts, they have so many loopholes in them that they know how they can continue to practice a religion of white supremacy the same way, even with an act or a bill. The joke's on you pretty much if you haven't figured it out yet. That's why if it's not written by a qualified, smart, and experienced black descendant of chattel slavery and Jim Crow in America who hasn't been compromised, this bill or this act is just deception. And this is undefeated, undebatable. But anyway, Fannie Lou Hamer gave a powerful speech. It was televised later on that day. And in 1968, Fannie Lou Hamer finally got what she wanted, and she became a member of Mississippi's first integrated delegation. In the year of 1964, Fannie Lou Hamer helped organize Freedom Summer. What the Freedom Summer was, it was a bunch of college students who would travel to help register black people to vote in the South. And that was a very brutal summer. Those knuckle-dragging beasts, those Mayo monsters went wild on these black college kids, but that's another video on its own. In the year of 1964, Fannie Lou Hamer announced her candidacy for the Mississippi House of Representatives, but she was barred from the ballot. A year later, Fannie Lou Hamer, Victoria Gray, and Ann Devine became the first black women to stand in the U.S. Congress when they unsuccessfully protested the Mississippi House election of 1964. Fannie Lou Hamer continued to travel, give powerful speeches on behalf of civil rights, and in the year of 1971, Fannie Lou Hamer helped to start the National Women's Political Caucus. Fannie Lou Hamer eventually became frustrated by the political process, and something clicked in her head. she turned to economics as a strategy for greater racial equality. So people, you see how smart Fannie Lou Hamer was. Fannie Lou Hamer didn't believe in insanity, not even her, okay? This is a black woman from the deep South that picked cotton, okay? She wouldn't even take part in the insanity because the obvious is right in front of her face. And that's why I take the obvious from what my people like Fannie Lou Hamer learned and went through. But nowadays we have a lot of insane and hopeful Negroes, okay? But anyway, Fannie Lou Hamer knew that we needed to focus on having our own, making our own money. So what she did in the year of 1968, she started something called a pig bank. And this was to provide free pigs to black farmers to breed, raise, and slaughter. A year later, she launched the Freedom Farm Cooperative, or the FFC. She was buying up land that blacks could own on and farm collectively. With the assistance of donors, including a singer by the name of Harry Belafonte, she purchased 640 acres and launched a co-op store boutique, a sewing enterprise. Fannie Lou Hamer single-handedly ensured that 200 units of low-income housing were built. Much of this still exists in Ruralville today. The Freedom Farm Cooperative lasted into the mid-1970s. At its heyday, it was among the largest employers in Sunflower County. So Fannie Lou Hamer is out doing her 1-2. And extensive travel and fundraising. It took her away from the day-to-day operations at this Freedom Farm Cooperative, but she still continued to do her thing. Her health eventually began to fail and decline, and Fannie Lou Hamer passed away in the year of 1977 of breast cancer at the age of 59. So there you go, people. Fannie Lou Hamer, she was a freedom fighter for her people. Fannie Lou Hamer is what you call excellence. Fannie Lou Hamer wouldn't have even been allowed in any of these Shinebone, Greek, Divine Nine, AKA, BKA, Blonde Wig, Greek Head KA, or wherever it may be, organizations. But she didn't need to be. Fannie Lou Hamer is what you call somebody who's a titan for her people. This was a black woman from the deep South. People would consider her a slave, maybe even a white Jesus worshiper. I doubt that, though. I doubt that. I don't know, but I seriously doubt that. But look at how much more sense she had than these people that you see nowadays. Don't ever use my people's Fannie Lou Hamer name in your nonsense, telling people that she died for your right to vote for a person who would have hated what she stood for. Don't do that. Don't use Fannie Lou Hamer or any of these other great black people as an excuse for your bamboozled brain. Anyway, people, I think I have to make a part 2 about Fannie Lou Hamer because there's another part of her life, of her personal life, that I didn't discuss in here that also affected many other black women. So I think I'm going to make a part 2. Check it out. Easy.